Hello there. After I recently did a review and look inside Robert Anton Wilson's book Coincidence, I became aware of this comic, which is an adaptation, or I guess it's gonna be an adaptation. It's just getting started. I think there's only one issue so far, and they're kind of looking into issue two, from what I understand. But it's adapting the classic novel Illuminatus, which is a very long novel. It's like 800 pages, so it's unclear to me how many issues this is going to be aimed at. But I found when I found out about it, I had to give it a look and see what it's like. So let's take a look inside. First issue is about 40 pages, I think, and begins with. I think this may be the first image I've seen of Bob Shea or Robert Shea, and here's of course Robert Anton Wilson, the co-authors of Illuminatus and the Tree of Life. So, I guess this came out summer 2024, last summer, and I think it's been I think I've only read Illuminatus once when I was about 20, so a lot of this I had totally forgotten, which was wonderful, because I think if I was too aware of it, it would have been less fun, or maybe not, but it was a total surprise now because of I had no idea where it was and where it was going. So the art, very simple art, obviously. Um, Actually, there's a few different art styles. There's a few artists that worked on it, but the main artist in the beginning is I forget his name. Let's see, Bobby Campbell, I guess. I'm not sure, but yeah, very simple art style. I liked it though. I thought it was interesting as it went along, and it did kind of remind me of certain aspects of the book that I had completely forgotten because it's been so long. Also, I wasn't clear. Was this taking place nowadays, or was it like in the 70s or 60s or 70s when the book was originally set? And I think it's the 70s, but every now and then there are like intrusions of modernity that creep in, and it's kind of like uh, I thought it was interesting. Like there's a part where the guy calls his wife on the phone on a payphone, but then it's briefly cell phone. So they incorporate some imagery, like real images. Actually, this could be AI nowadays. I don't know what this is. But it begins, oh, it also includes like a lot of like things in the book that I think were just mainly textual intrusions. Here they can do it in a more, illustrative way, like the different sources, different, um, yeah, so on. So we get these cops investigating this conspiracy oh, here's what I was talking about. So he's on the phone, and then we get this brief. It says time track incursion. Like we kind of get this smell of modernity, and then it switches back, and then we jump to this is a different artist, I believe, and a different art style in Texas. And in some ways, I like this art style more. I can't remember what it reminds me of, but it was nice. And more psychedelic. Well, first part's psychedelic too in different ways, but this art style I would say is more cartoony and allows things like that. And then then we get like a break. I haven't looked at the website to see what all this stuff is, and promise of the next issue coming, and then we get like a backup with kind of a preview of the next issue, I think, with stuff again I'm barely remembering. This is kind of a Doctor Who, right? I barely know Doctor Who. Incursion, and then the Yellow Submarine, which I do remember from the Illuminatus trilogy original novel. So we get a promise of Hagbard Celine. Uh, Again, I barely remember who that was because it's been so long since I read Illuminatus. So I feel like this is just the tip of the iceberg of the Illuminatus. Actually, it does say the first trip or Keith are part one of two, but I'm not sure if that. I think that's maybe the adaptation of the first book, and I think there are three books, so maybe there's going to be six issues. I don't know. I really have no idea. So we'll have to see. But if you're a diehard Illuminatus fan, this may be the book for you to check out, or the comic for you to check out, and see how it's been. I think there's been talk, or there's been attempts to adapt it into film or TV over the years, but I don't think it's ever happened. There was a play, I believe, but I never saw that. And yeah, so this is probably the closest thing to an adaptation that I'm aware of. I think there was an audiobook of it too, but I have not heard that. So yeah, if let me know what you think if you've read the this comic, and I definitely would keep going with it. I'm curious to see what they do and how they handle it all. So we'll see. Maybe this is Hagbard Celine, I believe. I think so, but again, I barely remember. So we'll see where it goes.